I'm Nancy Llewellyn, and I'm from Texas, and my husband and I left everything at home to come to work on the mission field, and we're having a wonderful time here in Russia. We've in the Ukraine, and we're working with a wonderful team. The people here are very hungry for God, really making a very good launch in the mission with the tent. The people are just mobbing us for tracts and Bibles and just wanting to know everything they can find out about Jesus. It's been wonderful. It's a real move of God, real revivals fixing to launch out here in the Ukraine. We're making a move now. We're tearing the tent down to move to the next city, and we'll be moving to several different cities before we close this thing up.
Yeah, and what would you say to young people?
Oh, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. I encourage any young person that even has a desire that thinks that they just may be interested in the mission field, because Rick and I really had no idea what God really had in store for us. We just had a desire in our heart that that's just something we wanted to do, is to work with the mission in the mission field, and it's been an experience of a lifetime. God's really blessed, and we know this is our calling, and that the mission field is the place for us. I encourage any young person to just make that step in faith, and God will lead you through it.
Amen. Thank you very much. You've been over here in Europe, helped make these tent poles, helped get this tent in here. Has it been worth it?
It's been more than worth it. If we had to set it up one night and take it down the next, it'd be worth it. A lot of hungry people. Never seen anything like it in my life. Just anxious to get to the next city, get out there and pass out tracts, tell people about the meeting, and see the souls come to the Lord at the end of the services. Sometimes inside the tent, outside the tent, and everywhere you go, people want to know Jesus. Some of them even come up and ask you, just tell them how to know Jesus. Something I've never experienced before. And I'm just excited about it.
Do we use any more workers?
Oh, we can use plenty of workers. You know.
Like how many?
Like maybe 150 or so.
You got a little helper here. Who's he?
This is Victor. He's a Ukrainian. He's been here since we started putting up the tent, and he's here again. We're getting ready to take it down.
Okay. Big pole coming down.
Gottes, the word Gottes. Spreken als Jezus, Isus, Isus. Isu любит вас. Любит. И тебя любил. Да. Слава Богу. Слава Богу.
We're sitting here with a Ukraine family. We give him Gospel of John in his own language. Can you imagine this wonderful family here, this humble home? 70 years they were deprived of the right for anybody to come here to give them a tract, give them anything. They were told that God was finished. There was no God, that all religion was an opiate of the people. But here, these people's hearts so open, we just give them this tract. It's such a privilege. It's what we take for granted all the time is such a privilege. It's unbelievable that we are able to be right here and visit with this family, talk with them about God. We can't talk with them because we can't communicate their language, but he does understand this Gospel of John here is in their own language, and we prayed that God would anoint this to his eyes, that he'd really be able to see Jesus.
Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. There's just something about that name. Master, Savior, Jesus, like the fragrance after the rain. Jesus.
on the platform with Dr. Clara Hutchins, head of World Thrust Ministries. They're responsible. He's been single-handedly responsible for putting the cross and the switchblade in the nations around the world. And, Brother Hutchins, you've come over with a little team from Florida. We date clear back to about a week after I got saved.
That's
in
right.
1966.
And I saw how God took you and used you these 25 years to put over 700 and some missionaries on the foreign field, which is a modern miracle.
Well, you know, wasn't anything I planned, you know, but when you get in the stream, the current just carries you down the river, you know.
Well, I'll tell you, Bill, the way you're doing it is the way it should have been done a long time ago. It's to preach the gospel, and like Jesus said, as you go forth, pray for laborers and enlist laborers as you go, which you've been doing faithfully. In other words, as you used to talk to me and we talked, preach to the people, teach the people, train the people, and enlist the people.
That's right. Send them out. And boy, have you ever seen anything? You've been all over the world. How many nations have you been in?
Over 100, like you said tonight.
And have you ever seen any greater hunger for God than what we are experiencing here?
I have never seen any greater hunger, because you can see these people for over 70-some years were blocked from hearing the gospel. And now for the first time, it's just an amazing thing to see. This is the time of the great harvest that Jesus talked about.
Well, I tell you, friends, really, we've been almost in tears since we walked in under the tent tonight. Some have been in tears. And what can we say? We just wish a lot of you were here to experience this. We are going to arrange tours in the spring.
Yes.
And we invite you to get a hold of us. To El Paso, we'll put our number up there on the screen. Get a hold of us. We'll give you information how you can come out and be a part of this great, I believe really it's an end-time harvest.
Well, I believe that, and God has impressed my heart on this trip, Bill. Since I've known you all these years, we've never done this, but I believe we're going to do a lot of them. Enlisting laborers in the United States and taking them with us on these great crusades like we're having here, to where they can minister, they can pass out tracts, you can use anybody, where they can pray, where they can testify, and where they can help see the harvest harvested.
We got housewives, we got teenagers, we've got a little bit of everything, right, haven't we?
Right.
Well, friends, we're living an exciting hour. It's just more than we can comprehend, beyond our wildest expectations. Did you ever dream there'd be a day we would be standing in the Soviet Union under a gospel tent with no fear of authorities or...
Right. I remember back in 1965, we prayed in Moscow that one day that stadium would be open, and I see that stadium at that time filled with people, but never dreamed it would come about so quickly.
You know, here, the last town we were in, we were running our lights off of a Red Army generator. You know,
wonderful.
I thought if I ever saw one of those, I'd be shooting at it. But
yeah,
here we are. So it's really a great time. We're humbled to be here, that God would allow us to bring, as far as we know, the first gospel tent into Russia, or the Ukraine, the USSR, in the last 70, 80 years.
That's fantastic.
And